All right, we are live. It says live already for 3 minutes. How is that? Check one, two, two, three, four. Good morning, everyone. This is Maxie Collier. I'm here with my wife, Shatar Safira Collier, and we
Good
want to.
morning.
Yes, hey, dear, you want to say something to the folks while I get a couple of these things ready, real quick? Talk about the
Happy
process.
Happy Saturday. I am so excited. We are doing this wonderful special Saturday morning cartoons with us. We're going to be talking about AI animation and the exciting video about Shorty Max and the incredible movie making machine that everybody's been talking about all week. We are so excited. So, we've got sneak previews for you today. We've got an opportunity for you to see the entire episode number 1, and we are so excited. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've got your comfy clothes, your pajamas, your slippers, your cereal, your Fruit Loops, or whatever you're eating, so you can join us for Saturday morning cartoons.
Thank you, dear. Great intro. Good morning, Jabari. We see you up in here. Hello to you. Yes, we want to give everyone just a few moments to come on in. Come on in. Join us for Saturday morning cartoons. So, growing up in a household with 7 brothers and sisters, you got to know that those Saturday morning cartoons were particularly special for us. Now, this was during the late 70s and early 80s. So, it was the heyday of those Hanna-Barbera animations and all those Space Ghosts and all those other things. So, yes, thank you. Yes, Jabari. So, yes, if you're interested, anyone who's watching, please feel free to share the link. We're going to be talking about the making of Shorty Max. Shorty Max is an animated series. We're going to show the series. We're going to talk a little bit about the making of it. Then we're going to take some of your questions. So, yes, thank you, Jabari, for that. So yeah, dear, you want to go ahead and see if there's any other chat things. I'm going to switch over here now.
Copy that. The chat is clear and we welcome you. Thank you for your comments and communication. So for the folks who are joining us, if anyone has a comment or a question, just go ahead and post it right there on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're joining us from, so that you can join the conversation as well as enjoying all of the animations. And also, this is a conversation. So if you have a question specifically, or if you have an idea for something cool and fun that you want to animate, tell us about it. We're all here. People are watching and listening, asking questions, and that's what this time is about.
Absolutely. So, yes, again, so just to give a little bit of context, Shorty Max is an animated series. So now, 24 years ago in 2001, my son was born in May. In August of 2001, I had this vision of the idea of Shorty Max. I had just spent a year working on a documentary film, traveling all over the country with the film crew, and had all these different experiences. So I had the idea for Shorty Max being a young, aspiring filmmaker who encounters some challenges while making a movie, and then he decides he wants to make a machine. He wants to make an invention. Actually, we'll just show you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to roll the episode of Shorty Max right now, and making up, and then we're going to come back, take some questions, and then we'll end it again showing it as well. So this is Shorty Max and the Incredible Movie Machine. Now, some of these scenes, you guys, they are exactly as I wrote them 24 years ago. But let's take a look. Okay, it is. Let's see, here we go. Okay, one second. I think the file is still uploading. All right, dear,
I'm
can you?
so, I am so excited about this. For the folks who are listening closely, did you hear Maxie say that these are as they envisioned this 24 years ago? This is what he had in his mind. What people are calling now generative AI, where they're making things, animations and graphics and things. He had this idea as a much younger person 24 years ago. And so now the technology has caught up with his ideas, and it's only been 24 years.
Okay, so we're having some problems streaming from here. I haven't used, so I just want to give you guys a little background again. For between 2023, 2024, Shatar and I did these sort of training sessions, live streaming for how many sessions did we do, dear? For about 2 years.
Yes.
And during
Consist-
that, go ahead.
Consistently. And during this time, we have trained hundreds of people across the country, professionals in many different areas about animations, how to do graphics, how to do things for their businesses. And it's so exciting to see how they're applying these things right now. I mean, I have seen them do some amazing things. People have gone on to get additional technical certificates. They're using them to animate their books or even create things that they've had in their minds. Now they have the tools to actually do it and make it happen. And that's what today is about as well. We're going to not just be talking about the animation here on Saturday Morning Cartoons, but we'll also be talking about the technical aspects and how to do it in a while.
So again, we're having some problems with this stream, Laura. I'm going to upload the film, re-upload the film. But here's what you can do. You can go to shortymax.com, shortymax.com, as you see on the screen. And right here, you can enter your email. You can also subscribe. Please click the button to help subscribe. And you can also watch the full episode in case we should have any more problems with this. So again, shortymax.com. And you click the button there that says view full episode, and it's going to take you to the YouTube. And so let me pull this up. So just to show you guys, I want to show you, this is the original drawing of Shorty Max from 24 years ago. I found a graphic artist in Los Angeles named David Jen. He had never used Photoshop before. He was a graph writer. He used to write graffiti all over the town. So we taught him how to use Photoshop. And he drew these characters for me, and this was the original Shorty Max, and these are some of the other characters that we had in the universe. So again, we had developed this whole universe around these characters.
Absolutely epic. And then for the people who are just now meeting the characters, can you tell them a bit about who they are, who Max is, and Bobby, and the others?
Yes. Okay. So Max. So again, Shorty Max is the director. He's also an entrepreneur. So now part of this thing from the beginning was Shorty Max makes this invention. He runs into some problems, and then he becomes like a Richie Rich character, basically, because he becomes a young man who's kind of wealthy as a result of the invention, but he's also kind of socially awkward, struggling in order to, make it his way in this world. Now, I don't know why this file is not playing. So dear, can you talk a little bit about some of our portfolio of some of our previous animations? I'm going to try another way with this.
Absolutely. For those of you who've been with us for years, you know that we also presented the Digital Puppet Company a couple of years ago, creating an animation. Of course, everything is here with New Vista Studios, but today we're representing for some of the characters that we created with Digital Puppet Company, and this is the DJ. So what we do is take the technology, the newest, latest technologies, and then create something fun with it. So we might create animations or graphics or movies or even the documentary that we did for Lewis Latimer. We created a documentary completely animated with voiceover and audio called The Life of Lewis Latimer. And you can see that at lewislatimer.com. But we continue through the years to combine technology with media to make things that we love and things that we think that you'll love. Many of them are educational, such as The Life of Lewis Latimer, which has a documentary element to it as well. And then some things are purely entertainment, like the characters with the Digital Puppet Company. Fun, music, cartoons. And we understand that entertainment part is key, especially with this Saturday morning cartoon series, which is why we're here with you today. So excited you're joining us. And
we just get this daggone a screen to work now. So Shatar, can you talk about how they can see our portfolio of some of our other projects?
Oh, sure. And hi, Nisi. Welcome. Good morning. So for people who are looking for the portfolio items, you can always go to newvistastudios.com/portfolio. And let me go ahead and put a banner up there for you. newvistastudios.com/portfolio. You can go right now, actually. And I'm putting it up here for you.
And Shatar, can you tell me if you can hear this audio when I play this?
Okay, copy that. Not yet. I see the video. It looks great.
Okay. All right. So then in that case, then you can continue to tell people how to get to the report. Thank you. There we go.
Yes, newvistastudios.com/portfolio. And there you'll see many videos, many animations. You can actually go ahead and take a second and head over there. One of the most popular animations that we've done is called the parts of speech. Now, with the parts of speech, we talk about the subject, verb, object, but we don't just present it in a way that's words, words on a page. We have actual animated characters that explain the concepts, and you'll see parts of speech on that page. So I know you're going there. For folks who can open in another tab, maybe they can head over to newvistastudios.com/portfolio. Folks who are here consistently remaining on this tab, just go ahead and save that. So you can go later and look newvistastudios.com/portfolio.
All right, so this is a perfect example because we tested everything. We had our session, our pre-production session, and we had the video playing, and now it's not when we go live. So that is the way that it can happen sometime. But again, if you go to shortymax.com, that is shortymax.com, you can see the whole movie. I'm not going to hold people up right there with that. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the making of this because while we play some of this in the background, because again, it is a lot of components to it. So you can go to shortymax.com. It'll click and take you to the YouTube.
So these are the graphics. You can see the visuals. All of these things were created with ideas, and then you have to learn the specific ways to prompt, because if you prompt incorrectly, it might create something that you don't want to see. But when you prompt correctly, it can make these types of visuals. And so I want to commend Maxie on these visuals. They are absolutely incredible.
So let's go into the making of it. Thank you, dear. So again, you guys, so one of the ideas was from the beginning was this story represents a couple of different time periods, because we first meet Shorty Max back in 2001 when he's 12 years old and he's aspiring. And then we also intercut this to 2032 when he's in his 40s. So the story starts off in 2032, flashing back as he tells about him and his friends in the early 2001s as they were trying to make their movie, and they were struggled to make their movie. And it was out of that struggle that Shorty Max had the innovation and the idea of taking words and taking images. Now, again, this was my exact concept in 2001. The idea of being able to take images, take words, combine them in a structured way and tell stories. So in 2022, when Shorty and I started experimenting with generative AI, I was like, wow, we're going to be able to make the movie machine. We're going to finally be able to make the movie machine, not just the cartoon about the movie machine, but we're actually building the movie machine. So, but before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about the making. So I had all these notes, years of images. The first thing that I had to do in order to make this animation was I came over here to ChatGPT. They have something called projects. When we click the projects tab over here, it lets you create a new project like this one here. Shorty Max 2025. Now, what's the advantage of doing this is that we're able to combine, first thing I did was take all of my old images, all of my old notes, and put them right here under project files. And in doing so, I now have a database, a knowledge base upon which I'm building everything else. So,
and for the folks who may be new to the tech, can you tell them what this site is, where you are, and how they were able to do it before compared to projects now?
Yes, thank you, dear. So basically, this is ChatGPT. I assumed that most people knew what ChatGPT was, but no, let's not have any assumptions. So this is ChatGPT, and this is GPT-4o. This one allows us to create images. This one allows us to create text. And through the use of the Sora application, we're also able to create video. We didn't use Sora for any of Shorty Max for this one. However, what we did use this for was every single character in the Shorty Max animation was created right here in ChatGPT. So once I set up this project, I began coming through and I start developing the individual characters. So this is our character Bobby Bling Bling as an adult. By having all of these grouped under the project like this, there's certain consistency elements that we're able to get. Any chat that we now create under this project is ChatGPT is going to know, keep the character similar, keep the art style similar. It's going to know our themes. So I could literally type something right now and say, draw a character, draw a scene, and it's going to draw it because it knows my story now. It knows my universe. So this is world building. We are building worlds. We're creating characters. It's not simply filmmaking and storytelling. Okay,
And
so we come through.
I hope you guys are taking notes, because this is like step-by-step information on how this particular animation was created. So you may have ChatGPT, but you may not necessarily have known that you can use ChatGPT this way to create the animation that you want.
Yes. Yes. So we come through and we create every one of our scenes. Within the scenes, we can also have it create dialogue for us. We can have it create sound effects, prompts. Okay, so this ChatGPT work, and again, you guys, I'm kind of rushing through this because I'm disappointed I wasn't able to play this video, but we're gonna go ahead. I promised a making of, so that's what we're gonna do. You can go see Shorty Mac, go to shortymax.com. You can click and subscribe, and you can see the whole movie there. But we're gonna get through this making of really quickly. So we made our images here in ChatGPT. I had most of the story. Once I put the story in, I was able to use ChatGPT to help me make scripts. As we communicate with it about these pieces of the project, we're actually speaking. First, we're speaking in scenes. We say, outline a series of scenes for us related to something. Then we talk about the shots within the scene. Then we make prompts for each one of those shots. And these prompts are describing the character, the setting, the action, what's taking place in that particular shot. Now, the thing that's cool now with this latest version of ChatGPT is that we can change angles. I could take this angle here and I could just say, give me a wide shot, and this character is going to look the same. Now, another thing that I did here is I told ChatGPT that for any image I create, give it a file name, give me a summary of the style, and give me a summary of what happens in that scene. So now what happens is this begins to help us, again, have continuity, because we can copy and paste this and reference it as we need it. Now, again, I'm rushing through this because there's a lot to share. So
I have a question too, and I want to welcome Sylvia. Welcome for joining us. Welcome to joining us. Welcome,
what up,
welcome.
Sylvia?
Hi. Yes. And can you please give them a sample prompt about what type of prompt because Maxie has always had a special gift for prompting, since most people even started discovering what prompting is. People can write something, but Maxie has a particular understanding of which words, which comma, which order to place the words so that you get this amazing magical result. So can they hear or see like a sample prompt, what you might have used to create one of these images?
Yes, because one of the key things is we use ChatGPT to help with our prompting. So because a lot of these tools that we're about to show you, they use a credit-based system. So every instruction, every command is going to deduct a credit. So instead, though, what we do is we develop our prompts over here in ChatGPT. So for example, draw a 16:9 polished 2D 0.5 shaded animation style. So this is telling it the aspect ratio. This is telling it the animation style. Now we go into the setting, 2032 Las Vegas. Now we go into our shot, a stunning wide shot of a hyper futuristic Las Vegas skyline at dusk. Imagine we going down. Now, I didn't write all of this exactly like this. I had ChatGPT take some of my notes, take some of my pictures, and it helped expand these prompts. So this is the prompts. These are the images that we have in the opening scene. So we go through all this and keep making our shots. We make our shots, we make our scenes, we make, build it up along the way. In any point in time, so now these features I'm showing you guys, this is based on the plus version of ChatGPT. It's $20 a month. It gives us additional capabilities, but most importantly, it gives us volumes of credits to do this prompting and prompting and prompting. So you can do this using the free ChatGPT. You can make images, but you're only going to be able to make a couple of images a day.
We have a question from the audience. They ask, was the entire film only made through ChatGPT, including the voices?
No, it was not. In fact, so now I'll skip the chat GPT. I'm going to move on because that's a great question. Because actually, so after we get all these characters made. So dear, bring me back to that question in a minute. So we get all these characters made. We get all of our different angles. And again, you guys, this is the thing. It's volumes of images. For anyone who thinks that we do this and we just enter one prompt and it comes out a finished film, we're not there yet. The movie machine will be there at some point like that. But for me as a filmmaker, as an artisan, this is the craft. We have to go through prompting volumes of images. We have to guide and direct these characters consistently. Now, the funny thing is, because of the the bias, yes, Sylvia, it's like a storyboard, but we do end up building a storyboard. This is like our raw media, you guys, for my film folks, and this is our raw source material right here. And we go through the volumes of it. Now, again, because we've trained the AI on our characters, we can also concurrently easily make our website images, our marketing promotional images, etc. So that's what you'll see some of these here. But now, so we have volumes of images that we've been making for our various scenes. You see, we take them through different emotions. You see, we give them different, like, he's a little bit more pensive there. They're laughing there. This is our directing. This is us directing these projects now. It is the shots that we choose. It's the angles that we choose. It's the making sure that the characters are consistent. You see, like he looks a little younger there than here. So we have to go through all this prompt guidance. She's wearing different clothes. So we are perpetually having to tell them to keep the skin complexion, the hairstyles, any identifying factors such as the beard, the glasses. We're constantly in our prompts having to tell them how to do this diversity, equity, and inclusion. So as we get these shots coming together, again, we have all sorts of shots. Now, after we've got those shots together, we then have to make a storyboard like Sylvia was talking about. So we can literally come over here to ChatGPT and copy and paste. We click on an image and it'll come up. Now, our tool, our main Swiss Army knife of digital media tools is Canva. What Canva allows us to do, and that's canva.com, is to copy and paste all of those images from, so now we're going from our raw media, we're making our selects, and we're beginning to build our storyboard. But we're also using Canva to clean up images. We can remove words, we can enhance the colors. So on all of these, because what we wanted, because again, the video tools that we use, every time we press enter, they're going to deduct some credits, whether it's right or wrong, whether it looks good or bad. So what we do over here is in Canva, we do a preliminary color correction. We come through and do saturation enhancements, and again, so I'm not going to go through everything with Canva, but just this edit tool right here, this is where we're able to come in and do all of our magic adjustments. We can completely make this image look black and white, hyper saturated, all that. So now we get through our whole storyboard. We're able to drag and drop our images in order and everything. So now we're starting, I'll say, okay, cool. I got an idea for my story. I see how it's going to flow, but we're still padding a lot of it. So then we had a question about the voices. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start making voices. This is a tool called 11 Labs, 11labs.io. And with 11 Labs, we're able to take text, paste it in here, and begin to make, yes, Jabari, you were correct. It's just like making LUTs in terms of back here, the color correction. That is exactly what it is. In fact, you guys, we can, yeah, yes, it is exactly what it is. So, but over here, we're making our voices. We're able to paste text into a box and do text to speech to make the voice. Now that's super powerful because we're able to choose different voices. We're able to speed them up, slow them down, change their pitch and things like that. But there's also something on here called speech to speech, where I can record myself and then come up in here and I can change my voice.
Can you please explain that? That is fascinating. Absolutely amazing.
So basically it allows us, so text to speech can sound artificial and robotic sometimes on some characters. What speech to speech allows us to do is I can act like an actor, I can perform these lines, and then change that voice to sound completely different. So now we're getting the benefits of the human performance, but the ability to change the voice with the AI. Now, one important thing about 11 Labs is 11 Labs is like, just like ChatGPT is an engine driving a bunch of our AI tools. 11 Labs is an engine driving the voices in a bunch of our additional AI tools as well. But we come in here and we build our voices in 11 Labs, but I also build voices in our editing tool, CapCut. Now, so we've got our voices built, we've got our storyboard built. You can even experiment within Canva under apps. There is a whole wide, just click apps, and you can do text to speech in here. You can do all sorts of, you can really use Canva to make a whole short film. But what happens is you run out of your credits. So you have limited abilities and you have, whereas these other tools, we go to the specialized tools and we can just do a deep dive, So yes, so dear, you can read some of those questions as I'm setting up for this next one. Okay, so let's see.
Copy that. Okay, thank you for answering that question. Thank you for your comments and questions. Yes, absolutely. So do you have a plugin? Do you have plugin availability to clean up the audio? Excellent question.
Yes, great question, Sylvia Reese Austin, one of the people who first taught me video production audio back in the day at BET. Yes, yes, okay, so we have general tools. So within Canva, there are tools that will help us clean audio, but we actually used a specialized tool to master the audio for everything at the end to bring all the levels up. But yes, are a wide variety of tools. So one of them is called La, so LALALA.ai or something like that. But that is a specialized tool specifically for cleaning up audio. You can lift entire voices off of backgrounds and musics and things like that. So yes, that is one of the many capabilities of some of these tools, the ability to, and we have tools that will lift voices off and turn music into stem tracks with individual instruments. I mean, this AI is bananas right now. Okay, so we've got our storyboard, we've got our voices. Now, you guys, we're at the part where we're going to start turning these images into videos. So how do we do this? Well, everyone was so excited over the past couple of weeks, because Google introduced something called Google VEO, VEO. Now, that is the engine that powers. Now, I need you guys to understand some of these concepts. Some of the important concepts here are platforms and then AI models. So you can have a platform like Canva, or 11 Labs. So 11 Labs is a platform, but it's also an AI model system that other platforms use.
Can you please, for people who may be new to this part, they may like animation and drawing, but they may or may not know what an AI model is, large language model compared to small. Can you like an introduction to what a large or what a language model is?
Yes. Now, again, you guys, as we're rushing through this, Shatara and I have a full 8-hour course called AI Toolbox Bootcamp, hours and hours, talking about this. But in general, the way this AI is running nowadays is there's something called large language models. And that's where basically the supercomputers went out and controversially scraped the web. Yes, they did. They scoured the web to find as much text, images, video as they could. They brought it back together and they made something called models, AI models. Now, here's the thing that's bugged out is that was Shorty Max's idea 24 years ago too. His concept was to use screenplay format like a programming language. So if someone said that they wanted to draw a tree, you send that request out to the web, you find the image of a tree, and you aggregate that data and you make a model. That's what's happening right now. Now, that was the earliest AI. Fortunately, now we're in the era where people where there's so many lawsuits about the unethical scraping of data that the model has now had to turn towards ethical licensing of content. In fact, there are entire business models that are built around us taking any video content that we have that's never been published and turning it into data so people can train on that data. Whole business model. We have a whole nother course on that called Mind Your Media.
Yes. And that's so important, especially for people who are into performers, protecting our rights. Yes. Now that they're doing ethical sourcing, it is wonderful. Just
yes. And I see Donald Randall on here. What's up, Donald? Donald is an old school filmmaker like a bunch of us. Donald, you got volumes of tapes, volumes of videos. These companies are looking for training data for their AI. So what happens is they take this data, it's turned into mathematical models, and then they use it to help improve the AI models. Big opportunities. We'll talk about that again some more. So we've got our storyboards. We've got our voices made. Now we're going to get this animation made. So for anyone who wants to go play with doing some animation right now, you can type flow.google.com. Flow.google.com, or is the one you see up on the screen. It's going to redirect you to labs.google. This is Google's video tool. It allows us to create images and then to do storyboards. Now, this is a very costly tool. This is one of the ones that I was talking about. You know, the baseline tool is, I think, $129 a month special right now or something, but you can go do a free trial. And as you can see, I've done that. Now, within this model, we have the ability to do text to video, which means I could have taken pieces of my screenplay, typed them directly in here, and it would begin to draw scenes for me. You know, now, but the thing is, you may or may not get the consistency. You struggle a lot more with consistent images. So instead, what we do is use something called frames to video. With frames to video here, we're now able to attach an image. We're able to attach an image, and you can see these are some of the previously uploaded images. And now in this prompt, in this text box here, this is where we direct the characters. This is where we can say, zoom in, dolly left or right, the person laughs, the person frowns. The ability for the AI to follow our instructions and commands is called prompt adherence. How closely does it listen to our command and understand it and create it? So within Google Flow, one of the beautiful things that people are so excited about it is because it lets us make longer scenes, it maintains character consistency better, and it has great prompt adherence. And here in Flow, once we've made scenes, we can do something, add the scenes in a storyboarding way. It's just like loosely editing them. So that's Flow, one of the tools we use for Shorty Max. The other essential animation tool that we use is klingai.com, KLINGAI.com. So with Kling AI, it is, again, a set of models designed for a specific purpose, in this case, for animation. And now Kling will give you daily credits. You get a daily certain number of free credits. It'll show up over here, and you're able to now come up in here. Super powerful tools. You can create your images here, but it's going to use your credits. So instead, you have less control. So instead, we come over here and do our images in ChatGPT. But now we come over here to Kling, we come to video generation, and so now we're able to attach images here. Now, what's dope about this is we can attach a starting image, we could attach an ending image. So if we have one shot we wanted to begin with, we want to end on another, then we can come down here and we can give it a prompt, the prompt to describe the camera motion. Now, we can also, and this was very important, the idea of negative prompts. A negative prompt is we tell the AI not to do something. So for example, back in the days of us having 10 hands and fingers on these projects, we used to have to tell it, do not give extra fingers, do not morph people, do not modify things. We had to do some of those things. In my case, I would tell her sometimes, because I was using two different styles, I had to reiterate, do not do this, do not. But yeah, so basically within Kling, we again build our videos, and you can see, we had volumes of runs, volumes of spins on it, because it doesn't get it right every time. Sometimes it is going to modify someone, or it's going to morph something, or it's not going to follow. So we go through, we build it. It's like rolling. It's like rolling film, going through takes, getting a shot. So for folks who say we are not directing, we are directing down to the frame in these things. Now what's dope about Kling is when we find a scene that we like here, we can come over here, click lip sync, and as long as the character's face is super visible, we can come right over here and now begin to create voices. So,
and you made a very, very valuable point about people who do everything from lighting to set design. All of those things take place at the very first frame, the very original graphic before you start the animation. So you see that garage is 2001. So you'll see actual computers and things in that garage from 2001. All of that is important for the set design, lighting, and so on. The computer there.
Yes, because again, in our world building in the ChatGPT, this is where we define these things. This is where we define the sets and the prompts. I mean, it is just like you said, dear. I mean, it's production design. it's costuming, it's props. These are the things that we are allocating in order to try to get the story to go the way that we want. All right, cool. So now we've got Google Flow for video. We have our Kling for video. We had over here 11 Labs for voices. The other animation tool, and my homie Daryl Warden had asked me about the tools that we use. Daryl, this is the one, Hedra, HEDRA.com. Now, Hedra, while these other ones, Kling allows us to do lip sync, Hedra's specialty is character animations with more natural movements, more authentic emotions. Again, when we talk about models, we see here it says Hedra Character 3. So these are, but with the paid premium version of Hedra, this is important. Again, we have individual platforms, we have individual models. In Hedra here, they have their own model, but we also can use, if we pay for the premium version, we can use Google's model, VO. We could use Kling's model, all under these one platforms. So from when we're testing different styles, we will end up testing different models and different platforms. Then we find the style that we like. Hedra is a great place to do that. But the way it works is we now have our images. We can generate images here too, but again, we're going to do it in ChatGPT. So we come over here and we select start frame. We upload our image. And then we can also come over here and click audio script. Now here within audio script, we can directly record audio, or we can generate speech like we were talking about. Now, again, this speech is powered by 11 Labs. So some of the voices that we hear in 11 Labs, we'll hear over here as well. Hedra is how you see the reaction of Shorty Max, where he's all emotional and where he's super amped up. These more authentic performances, or at least cartoon wise, they are as a result of us using Hedra. So we created videos in Flow, we created videos in Kling, we created videos in Hedra. Now we have to begin to edit these joints all together. There's a bunch of different tools that we use. I've been using Adobe Premiere since the earliest versions in the 90s. When that little copyright notice comes up and it says copyright 1991, I was like, yeah, I was using it then. But nowadays, there are certain tools that are really easier in my workflow. And one of these tools is called CapCut, CapCut.com. We can have the ability to edit directly in the browser on CapCut, which is my preference, because then I could jump on any computer and just begin working on my latest project. We also can download CapCut to our local computers. This is the actual timeline for the CapCut master project. For the Shorty master project. So the way it works is, I was able to import all of my videos here. I imported some of my voices. It already has sound effects. So within CapCut, why CapCut is so dope is because it was AI powered before AI became a thing. So it is a whole suite of tools. So if Canva is one of our super tools, CapCut is another one of our super tools because of the capabilities. So this is the timeline. And you can see within the timeline, we have our video tracks, we have our audio tracks, we have our transitions and our effects. And this is the actual timeline that I built CapCut in. My process basically is to bring these pieces in and to do a rough assembly of the whole story. It roughly matches the storyboard. And oh yeah, also we do our titles. So the titles were done in here. So then I'll do a rough cut, I'll do a rough cut, I'll do a rough cut, then I'll do a fine cut. Then meanwhile, as I'll take an early version of the script and I'll take the assembly and I'll send it to Shatar. And then Shatar, can you tell folks what you do with the music part at that point?
Absolutely. Polish, but also look at the emotions that the characters are experiencing at that time. And then also look at the scenes, see where it is in the plot. Is it 3-act structure? What's going on? What's happening at the beginning? What's happening at the end? And then to find audio things that will accompany that. Now, for those of the music heads who are watching, the difference between a major key and a minor key. If there's something very suspenseful going on the screen, you might want to find something that's in a minor key. If there's comedy that's about to happen, you might play your music and then boom, drop the audio out for the music so that you can focus on the line. For example, what's that line again? If you notice, there's no additional music playing. You can just hear the character's line and hear his voice clearly. And then also you want to make sure that what's going on at the very beginning, there's also something complementary at the end. So it's kind of bookended for the style and the audio for the piece.
And the way it appears to me is I have a rough draft. I have some ideas of music in my head, but I know I'll never have time to get to it. I send it to Shatar. She translates it and it comes back. I'm like, exactly. And so she uses tools like SoundDraw. I have SoundDraw up here on the screen. So lots of people know about Suno, SUNOAI, and Udio. And those are great tools, but we also use this one, SoundDraw. And can you talk about how you made the music for Shorty Max with this, dear?
Absolutely. And we have some comments and question here as well. And with SoundDraw, there are things you can select such as genre, mood, theme, length, speed. So if you're looking for like a 5-second bumper or 15-second something, you may find it here, but perhaps you need an audio piece that's 2 or 3 minutes. You can also find that here. So you have to combine one genre with one mood and one style, and then generate the results and see what's created. But also having technical knowledge such as musical notes and chords and understanding those things, it can help make the process a lot faster.
Yep. So again, you can use Suno, you can use Udio, you can use SoundDraw, but the main thing is that we want to find the right music that sets the tone and the emotions for the scene. Shatar is great with that. Our son Jason is great with that. And if you are not a person who's musically oriented, then you find someone. Now, I'll tell you this though. We do have the ability to upload videos to ChatGPT. And we can upload a video to ChatGPT and say, give me ideas for music. How bananas is that? And even in terms of for the trailer, I uploaded the final film and I asked it to give me feedback on the trailer and to help with the trailer. So we've got our music. The music is coming over here in CapCut. Shatar will jump in on the timeline at that point and she'll begin to, put the fades in, put the music in position and things like that. Then at that point, once we're pretty happy with it, we're going to export this. The web version of CapCut only does 1080p, but what do we export this and then I go into the desktop version and I scale it up to 4K. But
while we're here in the timeline for the producers who are here, all of those things in the green, they're all audio files. All of those sprinkles throughout are the brilliance of Maxi's editing. He's added all sorts of sound effects that are sprinkled throughout the timeline. For example, when he's swiping on his tablet on screen, you hear that swoosh. Those sorts of things are also essential for the quality of your animation.
Yes, exactly. It goes back to the earliest days of animation and how synchronized audio or what we see on the screen elicits emotions from us. So within CapCut, you're able to come over here directly to audio. Now, Shatar and I were talking about, our early days of media production when we used to have to pay for people to send us CDs. We would have to spend hours listening to the music on the CDs, pull the audio off of there, chop up the files, and drop it in. Now in CapCut and Canva, we just come over here and we just say, fireworks. And we got fireworks. But what's even more amazing than these pre-made sound effects, you guys, is how we're able to use 11 Labs. 11 Labs has a sound audio suite in here where we can bring the finished film in. We can go to a location on the timeline and we can type a sound effect and it generates that exact sound effect too. So again, super powerful. Now, see, we have a question down here. All right. Do you know, is there anything that could be used to help with potential lip syncing errors? Okay. Yes. So, well, one, we have to design the characters for the most part for most of these tools. Like there's another tool we use called HeyGen. HeyGen is amazing, but if the character is not facing the camera directly, it won't do the audio. So one of the key things is for the sync scenes at this time is making sure that the character has enough of a view to get a clear perspective of their mouth in our angles. That's critical. Not having any other characters in scene, because if you do, there's some things in Shorty Max where you see multiple mouths moving, but then also we have to pick the right models. That's why this Hedra model is getting so much love, because the Hedra model really gives us a lot of flexibility now with the how so like I said, some of these didn't let you do animals or cartoon characters. They only let you do real human faces, whereas this can give us emotions, based on the and you'll see some of these avatar tools, they're only going to animate the mouth or the head. This gives you body motions and movements and eyebrows and things like that. So one of the things that can be done to help to make sure is making sure that the mouths are clear, that there's clear contrast and things like that. And picking the right model, because cling is less flexible with the lip sync. If this character, we can do the lip sync here, but if the character's too far turned, it's not going to pick it up. And there's other tools that are out here just specially for lip syncing, like lipsync.so. We go to that when we need extreme cases. And all of these models are getting better. And also, actually, you guys, for this Google VO and this Google Flow, Google VO is the first generative AI platform that will concurrently generate dialogue and music for a scene from one prompt. So let me say how bananas that is. That we can have one prompt, it will draw from that prompt, it can draw the images, it can draw the characters talking, and the background music. Now, it doesn't get it perfect and it messes it up. And to be honest, I ended up using Google. I didn't use Google Flow for some things, because this is an example when I put one of my first prompts in from the Shorty Max project. When I didn't use a character image as a reference, this is what it gave me. Let's see. Well, it was that scene that was just showing, but basically, it didn't hit it right. So again, yeah, this one right here. So that's the prompt that, that's what it gave me from one of the prompts. That doesn't look like this at all. So I didn't use any of the built-in audio with Google Flow. I did all the audio with Hedra, and some of it with Kling. So okay, look, we're almost on this 50-minute mark. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I thank you, Sylvia, for giving me props as a director, and then Shatara as my co-producer. We bounce off of each other with these projects, and it's kind of essential because we can go down rabbit holes. So, and that's what I want to talk about. As we move. Are there any other questions there that we need to address before we move on to this? So again, you can go to shortymax.com. That is shortymax.com, and let me pull it back up here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so you can go to shortymax.com, and it will you can see the whole movie there. You can click watch full movie. Please click subscribe and join us as a subscriber. You can enter your email address and you'll be put on our wait list, and you'll be notified as we do additional episodes. We're already working on our next episode, but we also would like to invite anyone who's interested. Shatara and I are going to be hosting our first live cohort for AI Animation 101. This is a brand new course that we have been working on for some time, but now that we've got the Shorty Max project rolling, we're ready to do this. And in this AI Animation 101, we're going to have 4 weeks. So it's going to start 3 weeks from tomorrow. If you sign up, you get immediate access this week to some of the self-paced material. But in 3 weeks from tomorrow, we'll have the first of our live sessions. And in 3 live sessions, we're going to write, direct, edit, design, build these projects. So imagine you have a session on this Sunday. We talk about a concept. You work all that week. We come back the next Sunday and you pick it up. And then on the 4th week, we screen everybody's projects. We do a Q&A like this, giving feedback. We have been talking about this for some time, and we are so excited and ready to invite folks to join us. We are not gatekeeping. We are going to share everything, just like we did here. We gave you guys the ingredients. In this course, we're going to give you the recipes. We're going to help walk you through the processes of building all of this. Shatara, can you talk a little bit more about the course?
Absolutely. It's like a cohort where you're there with other supportive people. You have a vision in your mind of something you want to create, an animation that you want to share. And we are encouraging you to be introduced to the tools to make that, and then make it happen, so that everyone who's watching can also say, yes, I love this. Oh, I really like that. So you're getting feedback in real time. And then at the end, we're going to screen everything. Everybody's polished everything. Now is the time. You don't have to wait anymore. The tools are here.
And we're going to show you how to save time and money on this, because again, if you're not careful, man, you can just go through a grip of cash with these AI credits. I mean, so that's why we're about guiding you step by step, teaching you the hacks and the techniques that we have used in order to do these projects. Because again, we're now 2.5 years into doing these AI animated projects. The tools are only getting better. Our techniques are getting more refined. Yes, by this time next year, we will be on some Black Mirror type, scenarios for some of this AI. But in the meantime, let's stay ahead of it. Let's learn how to be storytellers, multimodal, multi-format storytellers. Where we can take the Shorty Max story and we can do graphic novels. And we are right now. We're doing a graphic novel. We're going to do merchandise. We're doing games, because we've now have created this universe that we can build upon and create all sorts of things as we envisioned so long ago, including, as I mentioned, the movie machine. If you go to moviemachine.ai, that's moviemachine.ai, we're building it, you guys. On this platform here, we're soon going to have a bunch of these tools, incorporating a bunch of these tools that will allow you to write, design, animate, illustrate. Now, again, we're pulling Kling in, we're pulling Hedra in, we're pulling the best tools here in order to do it. Now, there's other platforms that are out here like this, but none of them are Shorty Max's platform. And as we go from making movies to making games within this platform, we want you to be a part of that too. So if you're interested, please visit moviemachine.ai and enter your email address there, and you'll be able to follow the development of this project. All right, dear, are there any other questions? Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
thank you. Thank you to Donald Randall. He says, thanks for paving the way to you and your team. And then also we have a question. Would this presentation be saved for future reference?
So this presentation will remain up on our LinkedIn and our Facebook this week. Then we're going to take it down and we're going to put some of the material into the learning and management system, where it will be available along with lots more material. So we'll take this video, chop it up in little segments, put it into our course here at Learn Tech and Media, where the AI animation course lives. You can access it there, but even more importantly, we'll have templates, we'll have custom GPTs, we'll have all sorts of presentations. So yes, this presentation will be up this week. Take your notes, and we'll probably be doing another one before we start our live sessions. But yeah, so go ahead and if you're interested, I know. Okay, so the price of this course is $497. We have discounts available for some of our family and friends, and we even have a payment plan available if necessary. So you can go to learntechandmedia.com. That is learntechandmedia.com. This is the site that Shatara and I are aggregating our training materials under nowadays. And and if you need some help with the coursing, with the price or some situation, hit us up, info@New Vista Studios, and we'll work out a deal. Because again, for us at this point, it's really about the synergy. We spend so much time working alone, going in rabbit holes. I mean, this is months and months and months of research and things. So when we can bring a cohort together, hold each other accountable, encourage each other and things like that, that's what we want to do. I want to be so pleasantly surprised, by how the things that people create. I want you guys to be able to teach us some of the things, because you're diving into these tools and we're all learning together. So hit us up, info@New Vista Studios, if you've got questions, if you need some help with something, or post a comment on this thread and we'll answer in the thread, because like I said, it'll be remaining up for the week. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I am so excited, you guys. And this is a wonderful casual setting. We are here with Saturday morning cartoons, sharing information on these animations. I know you have ideas for animations, and so I want to hear these and see these as you go through the weeks here with the cohort. But I'm just so excited. Saturday morning cartoon right here with Maxie and Shatar, and this especially wonderful project, over 24 years in the making, with Shorty Max and the incredible movie making machine.
Yes, and it is a reality. So thank you all for your time this morning. And I'm so disappointed we didn't get to play the session. But on the other hand, we got to teach a lot more. So it's right here for you. We're here for you. Have a great weekend.